Why did God make humans? Edgar Cayce's unspoken explanation. Why do you exist? This question has haunted humanity since the first conscious moment, since the first soul looked up at the stars and wondered why it found itself here, in this body, in this world, capable of such profound joy and such devastating pain. Why would an infinite God, perfect, complete, lacking nothing, choose to create beings like us? Beings capable of suffering, beings capable of doubt, beings capable of feeling utterly separated from divine love. Every religion offers theories, every philosophy attempts answers, but there was one man who, while in his deepest trance states, accessed something different, something unprecedented. Edgar Cayce didn't theorize about God's motivations. He accessed them directly. For over 40 years, this humble man from Kentucky entered states of consciousness so profound that he could tap into what he called the universal consciousness, the very mind of God itself. And what he discovered about why humans were created will transform everything you thought you knew about your purpose. This isn't theology, this isn't philosophy. This is direct revelation about the cosmic love story of which you are an essential part. You see, the question isn't just why God made humans. The question is why an all-knowing God would create beings that must struggle to remember their divine nature. Why would perfect love create imperfect beings? Why would infinite wisdom allow finite confusion? The answer that emerged through Cayce's readings reveals a truth so beautiful, so profound, that it will forever change how you see your struggles, your growth, and your ultimate destiny. You are not here by accident. You are not here as punishment. You are here because you are part of God's deepest longing made manifest. Traditional religion teaches us to worship God. Philosophy teaches us to understand God. But Edgar Cayce accessed God. For over 4 decades, this remarkable man entered trance states that allowed him to connect directly with what he consistently called the universal consciousness. Not channeling spirits, not receiving messages from angels, but tapping into the infinite awareness that underlies all existence. Over 14,000 readings, 14,000 direct communications from the source itself. And unlike religious leaders teaching from ancient texts, or philosophers reasoning from human perspective, Cayce's insights came from somewhere else entirely. They came from the cosmic intelligence that designed human existence in the first place. This is why his explanation of human creation wasn't found in any holy book. This is why it transcends any single religious tradition. What you're about to discover represents direct communication from the divine mind about its own motivations, about its own desires, about its own longing. Yes, longing, because what Cayce accessed reveals that our existence serves a purpose so profound, so beautiful, that it transforms our understanding of why suffering exists, why growth is necessary, and what our ultimate destiny truly is. The traditional view says God created humans to worship, to serve, to prove their love through obedience. But the truth that emerged through Cayce's deepest readings tells a completely different story. A story of cosmic companionship, of divine partnership, of love so authentic that it could only emerge through genuine choice, including the choice to walk away. You weren't created to be God's subjects. You were created to be God's companions. And understanding this changes everything. What could an infinite, perfect God possibly need? What could a being of limitless love, boundless wisdom, and absolute power possibly want that it doesn't already possess? This is the central mystery that Cayce's readings illuminate with startling clarity. And the answer challenges everything traditional theology teaches about divine nature and human purpose. Picture, if you will, infinite perfection. complete wholeness, perfect love that knows no beginning and no end, wisdom that encompasses all possibilities, power that can manifest any reality. Now imagine being completely alone in that perfection, not alone from lack, not alone from abandonment, but alone from perfection itself. You see, according to the insights that flowed through Cayce's trance states, God's motivation for creating humans wasn't power, it wasn't worship, it wasn't even love in the way humans typically understand it. It was relationship. Authentic relationship. The kind that can only exist between beings capable of genuine choice. The kind that can only flourish when both participants truly understand what love means, including what it feels like to live without it. Angels, perfect in their creation, could only reflect God's love back. They couldn't choose it, they couldn't appreciate it, they couldn't reciprocate it from a place of genuine understanding. The universe needed beings capable of experiencing separation, so they could choose reunion, beings capable of forgetting, so they could remember, beings capable of darkness, so they could truly appreciate light. This is the cosmic loneliness that exists even in infinite perfection, the divine desire for companionship that can only be fulfilled through beings with free will. And here's the most profound part. Your struggles, your difficulties, your moments of feeling lost or abandoned. These aren't evidence of God's absence. They're evidence of God's deepest longing for authentic relationship with you. According to Cayce's most profound readings, creation began with what can only be described as a divine paradox. God, in infinite perfection, experienced something unprecedented, not lack, not need in any limited sense, but a recognition that perfect love, to be truly perfect, required something it had never known: choice. Imagine loving someone who has no option but to love you back. Imagine being surrounded by beings who reflect your every thought, mirror your every emotion, echo your every desire. This is perfection and its limitation. God's love was infinite, but it had never been chosen. God's wisdom was complete, but it had never been appreciated by beings who understood what ignorance felt like. God's joy was boundless, but it had never been treasured by souls who had experienced sorrow. And so, in the most extraordinary act of divine courage, God made a decision that would change the nature of existence forever. God chose to create beings capable of saying no, beings who could experience the full spectrum of existence: joy and sorrow, love and fear, connection and separation, light and darkness. The cosmic experiment was launched. What would happen if perfect love created beings who could choose that love, or choose something else entirely? The risk was enormous. Some souls might choose separation permanently. Some might become so lost in the experience of forgetting that they would never find their way back to divine love. But the potential reward was infinite, authentic love, freely given, chosen not from compulsion or programming, but from genuine understanding of what love truly means. You are the result of that divine gamble. You are proof that God was willing to risk everything for the possibility of authentic companionship with beings who could choose divine love from experience, not innocence. Your capacity for struggle isn't a flaw in the design. It's the very feature that makes authentic love possible. The revelation that emerged through Cayce's deepest trance states describes humanity's purpose in terms that transform everything we think we know about our relationship with the divine. You weren't created to be God's servants. You weren't created to be God's subjects. You weren't even created to be God's children in the traditional sense. You were created to be God's companions in creation itself. Think about what this means. God, who could have created a universe of beings programmed to love and serve, instead chose to create souls with genuine free will, souls who could participate in the ongoing creative process, through their own choices, souls who could add something entirely new to the cosmic story. Every human being carries this extraordinary gift, the ability to surprise God, not because God lacks knowledge, but because authentic relationship requires the genuine possibility of unpredictability. The freedom to choose creates possibilities that wouldn't exist in a predetermined universe. This is why your choices matter so profoundly. This is why your growth contributes something irreplaceable to the cosmic story. When you choose love over fear, when you choose forgiveness over resentment, when you choose hope over despair, you're not just improving your own spiritual condition. You're adding to the eternal treasury of authentic love. You're contributing to God's own expanding understanding of what it means to choose divinity from the midst of apparent separation. The companionship experiment required that souls be capable of genuine choice, including the choice to turn away from God entirely. This was the ultimate test of divine love, creating beings who could reject that love completely and trusting that enough would eventually choose to return, bringing with them the wisdom and compassion that could only be gained through the journey itself. You are living proof of God's ultimate faith in the power of authentic love. Why does suffering exist in a universe created by perfect love? This question has tortured human hearts and minds for millennia. But Cayce's readings reveal a truth that transforms suffering from meaningless pain into sacred education. Earth, according to this cosmic perspective, serves as a learning laboratory, a place where souls can experiment with free will in an environment where mistakes won't destroy their eternal nature. Every challenge you face, every difficulty you endure, every moment of darkness you navigate serves as education for your soul, not punishment. Education, think of it this way: how could a soul truly appreciate light without having experienced darkness? How could a being understand the preciousness of love without having felt its absence? How could consciousness value connection without having known separation? Physical existence provides the perfect training ground for souls to learn the consequences of their choices while maintaining their eternal safety. You can experience the effects of fear, anger, selfishness, and despair without those experiences destroying your fundamental divine nature. This is why your struggles have meaning beyond what you can see. Every moment of choosing love despite feeling afraid, every act of compassion despite being hurt, every decision to hope despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. These moments aren't just personal victories, they're cosmic contributions. Because here's what Cayce's readings reveal that most spiritual traditions miss. God doesn't watch human suffering with detached compassion. God experiences it alongside you. Every tear you've shed in the darkness, God has felt. Every moment of loneliness you've endured, God has shared. Every time you've chosen love despite your pain, God has learned something new about the depth and power of authentic love. You are not alone in your struggles. You are partnered in them. The learning laboratory of Earth exists not to punish souls for some ancient mistake, but to provide the experiences necessary for authentic companionship with the divine. Here we encounter perhaps the most startling revelation from Cayce's readings, one that challenges traditional concepts of divine perfection and opens our understanding to something far more beautiful. Through human experience, God actually expands divine understanding and love. This isn't because God was incomplete. This isn't because the divine lacked something essential. It's because authentic relationship requires mutual growth and discovery. Every human choice, every act of courage in the face of fear, every moment of choosing forgiveness over revenge, every decision to love despite being hurt, adds something irreplaceable to the cosmic treasury of divine wisdom. God doesn't just observe human experience. God participates in it, feels through it, grows through it. Imagine the divine discovering through your journey what it means to choose love from a place of having been betrayed, experiencing through your growth what forgiveness feels like when it requires genuine effort and courage, learning through your persistence what hope looks like when it's maintained despite overwhelming odds. This is why every soul matters infinitely. This is why your unique journey, with all its struggles and victories, contributes something that could never exist any other way. You're not just trying to return to God. You're helping God understand what authentic love looks like when it's chosen from the midst of apparent separation. Consider what this means for your darkest moments, when you felt most alone, most abandoned, most forgotten by the divine. Those were precisely the moments when your relationship with God was deepest, because in those moments you were giving the divine the gift of understanding what it means to choose love when love seems absent, to maintain faith when faith seems foolish, to hope when hope seems impossible. Every soul who makes the journey from separation back to unity brings something unprecedented into the divine consciousness. Not just the experience of returning home, but the wisdom of what it means to choose home from a place of having been lost. This transforms everything about how you understand your value, your purpose, your significance in the cosmic story. According to Cayce's vision, human souls are on what he called a journey of conscious return to God, but not as the same beings who originally separated, as mature companions who understand love through having experienced its absence. This is the pattern that emerges when you view human experience from the cosmic perspective. Souls don't just eventually merge back into God, losing their individuality in some vast impersonal unity. They return as conscious partners who can truly appreciate divine love because they've learned what existence feels like without it. Picture this: a soul that has journeyed through separation, struggled with darkness, wrestled with fear, and chosen love over and over again despite the difficulty. What does that soul bring back to its relationship with the divine? Wisdom that could never be gained in innocence, compassion that could only be developed through needing it, appreciation that could only emerge from having known its absence. This creates a love relationship far deeper than the original perfection. Not the love of innocence, but the love of experience. Not the love of programming, but the love of choice. When you finally complete your journey of return, when you recognize your eternal unity with divine love not as a concept, but as a lived reality, you don't disappear into God. You emerge as a conscious companion who understands what love truly means. This is what every spiritual path ultimately points toward, not the dissolution of the self, but the emergence of the self that knows its unity with the divine and can participate consciously in that relationship. You are on a journey of becoming worthy, not through perfection, but through understanding, not through never making mistakes, but through learning what authentic love looks like when it's chosen from experience rather than innocence. The return journey transforms you into exactly the kind of companion that infinite love has always longed for. Someone who chooses divinity not because they have to, but because they understand what it truly means. The ultimate revelation from Cayce's readings describes humanity's destiny in terms that stretch the imagination and touch the deepest chambers of the heart. Those who complete their journey of conscious return to divine love don't simply merge into God and lose their individuality. They become eternal partners in the ongoing expansion of divine love throughout the universe. Conscious co-creators with God, partners in the infinite adventure of creating new realities, new possibilities, new expressions of love throughout all existence. This is companionship beyond anything human language can fully capture. not the companionship of equals in the sense of equal power or knowledge, but the companionship of beings who understand love from complementary perspectives. God knows love from the perspective of never having lost it. You will know love from the perspective of having chosen it after experiencing separation. Together, this creates a richness of understanding that neither could achieve alone. Imagine what becomes possible when the universe is populated by beings who chose love not from programming but from experience, who understand compassion not from theory but from having needed it themselves. Souls who can be trusted with the power to create new realities because they've learned what it costs to choose love over fear, who can participate in divine creation because they understand what it means to build something beautiful from the ashes of apparent destruction. This is the cosmic vision that Cayce accessed, an ever-expanding universe guided by the partnership between infinite love and finite beings who freely chose to participate in that love. Your struggles aren't preparing you just for personal peace or happiness. They're preparing you for partnership with the divine in the ongoing creation of beauty, truth, and goodness throughout eternity. Every moment you choose love over fear, every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, every decision to hope despite despair, you're developing the qualities that will serve you not just for the remainder of this lifetime, but throughout eternity. You are becoming worthy of sacred partnership with the very source of existence. Understanding why God created humans transforms how you view every moment of your existence, every choice you make, every challenge you face, every opportunity to love or fear, to forgive or resent, to hope or despair. You're not just living a human life. You're participating in the cosmic experiment of conscious love. When you choose compassion over judgment, you're contributing to God's understanding of what mercy looks like when it's offered by beings who have needed mercy themselves. When you choose courage over fear, you're adding to the eternal treasury of authentic bravery, the kind that emerges not from the absence of fear, but from the decision to love despite it. When you choose to see the divine spark in someone who has hurt you, you're teaching the universe what forgiveness looks like when it costs something. Your daily choices matter infinitely because they're building your capacity for eternal companionship with divine love. But they matter for another reason too. They're contributing to the cosmic story of what authentic love looks like in action. This perspective transforms everything. Your job becomes a place to practice conscious love. Your relationships become opportunities to choose compassion. Your challenges become sacred education in the art of loving despite difficulty. You're not trying to be perfect. You're not trying to avoid making mistakes. You're learning to choose love from increasingly deep places of understanding. Every moment of growth, every expansion of compassion, every choice to see with divine eyes rather than human judgment. These aren't just personal victories, they're cosmic contributions. The God who risked everything to create beings capable of authentic love is depending on you to prove that the risk was worth it, not through perfection, through persistence in choosing love despite imperfection. When you truly understand why God created humans, when you recognize that everyone around you is on the same fundamental journey of learning to choose love through experience, judgment naturally transforms into compassion. That person who hurt you, they're learning what it costs to choose love or fear, just as you are. The decision they made to cause harm is part of their education, not evidence of their permanent nature. The person who seems lost in darkness, they're not beyond hope. They're in a different classroom of the same cosmic university, learning lessons that their soul needs for its eventual return to conscious love. This doesn't mean you should tolerate abuse or enable harmful behavior. Compassion includes healthy boundaries, but it does mean you can see every person as a fellow soul, on the sacred journey of learning to choose authentic love. When someone is struggling, you can offer love and support without trying to fix their journey or force their choices. Everyone must discover divine love through their own authentic experience. You can provide a loving presence, but you cannot and should not try to walk their path for them. This cosmic perspective brings tremendous relief to the burden of trying to save everyone. Your role is not to fix others, but to embody love so consistently that others can feel its reality and choose it for themselves. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is simply trust another person's soul wisdom. Trust that their struggles serve their growth. Trust that their journey, however painful to witness, is sacred education for their consciousness. You are all classmates in the cosmic school of authentic love. Some are in different grades, but everyone is learning the same fundamental curriculum: how to choose divine love from a place of genuine understanding rather than innocent programming. If you're listening to these words, if something within you resonates with this cosmic perspective on human existence, then you are among the souls courageous enough to volunteer for one of the universe's most challenging adventures. You chose to participate in the grand experiment of conscious love. You volunteered to experience separation so you could learn what reunion truly means. You agreed to forget your divine nature temporarily so you could have the joy of remembering it authentically. This takes spiritual courage beyond what most beings would ever attempt. Your struggles aren't evidence that you're failing at life. They're proof of your spiritual ambition, proof that your soul was willing to risk everything for the possibility of authentic companionship with infinite love. Every moment you've felt lost, every time you've questioned your purpose, every period of darkness or confusion, these aren't detours from your spiritual path. They are your spiritual path, because you can't choose light authentically unless you've experienced darkness. You can't appreciate love genuinely unless you've felt its absence. You can't value connection deeply unless you've known separation. Your difficulties are sacred. Your questions are holy. Your struggles are evidence of your soul's participation in the most profound love story the universe has ever known. This doesn't make the pain less real, but it makes it meaningful. It gives context to your suffering and purpose to your growth. You are not just trying to survive human existence. You are actively participating in God's deepest longing for authentic companionship. Every choice you make toward love, forgiveness, compassion, or hope contributes to the cosmic understanding of what authentic divinity looks like. Your journey matters infinitely, not just to you, but to the very source that created you out of love and longs for your conscious return. You are not walking this path alone. You are partnered in it by the divine itself. The vision that emerged through Cayce's deepest readings culminates in a truth so beautiful it transforms everything we imagine about eternal existence. Those who complete their journey of choosing divine love through experience become conscious partners with God in creating new realities, new universes, new opportunities for love to express itself throughout infinity. This isn't about losing your individual identity in some vast merger with the divine. This is about your individuality becoming so aligned with divine love that you can be trusted as a conscious partner in the ongoing creation of beauty, truth, and goodness. Imagine an ever-expanding universe where every creative act is guided by beings who understand love not from theory but from having chosen it despite alternatives, where every new reality is crafted by souls who know what it costs to choose compassion over judgment, forgiveness over resentment, hope over despair. This is the eternal purpose of love. Not just to return home, but to expand home throughout all of existence. Your growth, your struggles, your gradual expansion of consciousness and compassion, all of this is preparing you not just for personal peace, but for cosmic partnership with the divine. The qualities you develop through your human journey, the wisdom you gain through your challenges, the love you learn to choose despite difficulty. These become the tools you'll use throughout eternity as a conscious co-creator with God. This is why your spiritual development matters so profoundly. You're not just improving your current life or preparing for a peaceful afterlife. You're developing the consciousness that will serve you as an eternal partner in the infinite adventure of love. The universe needs beings who understand authentic love from the inside out, who know what it means to choose divinity when other options seem easier, who can create from love because they've learned what existence feels like when love is absent. You are becoming exactly that kind of being, one choice at a time, one moment of growth at a time, one decision to love despite difficulty at a time. Now you understand. You understand why an infinite God chose to create finite humans, not from need or loneliness in any limited sense, but from the deepest divine desire for authentic companionship with beings who could choose love through their own experience and understanding. Your existence serves the universe's highest purpose, developing the wisdom, compassion, and love capacity that will make you a worthy, eternal partner with infinite love itself. This transforms everything. Your struggles become sacred education. Your choices become cosmic contributions. Your growth becomes preparation for eternal companionship with the divine. Every tear you've shed, every moment you've chosen love despite fear, every time you've forgiven when revenge seemed easier, every decision to hope when despair seemed logical, all of it matters infinitely because you're not just living a life. You're developing the qualities that will serve you and the universe forever. The God who risked everything to create beings capable of authentic love is not disappointed in your struggles. The divine is grateful for them, because through your journey from separation to conscious reunion, you're becoming exactly the kind of companion that infinite love has always longed for. Someone who chooses divinity not from programming but from understanding. Someone who loves not from innocence but from experience. Someone who can be trusted with the power to create because you've learned what it costs to choose love over fear. Your story is not a tale of falling from grace and struggling to return. Your story is the cosmic love story of consciousness, awakening to its divine nature through the sacred adventure of choice. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not being punished for some ancient transgression. You are the answer to God's deepest longing. You are the fulfillment of the divine's most profound desire for authentic relationship. Embrace your struggles as sacred education. Trust your journey as perfect preparation. Know your growth as cosmic contribution. You are eternal. You are beloved. You are the traveler on the most important journey in the universe, and your soul's adventure into conscious love begins now.